Have you ever stopped to think how much of your life is built on habits? The truth is, every single day you're either building discipline brick by brick or slowly tearing it down. Most people think transformation comes from one big decision, like moving to a new city, quitting a job, or finding the perfect relationship. But here's the reality. The shape of your future isn't built in one day. It's hidden in the tiny choices you make over and over again when no one is watching. And today I want to share with you 15 habits that changed everything for me. Not just surface-level hacks, but deep, life-shifting disciplines. These are habits that tested me, broke me, built me back up, and showed me who I could actually become. And if you stick with me until the end, I'll reveal the single most powerful reminder I repeat to myself every day, one that changes how I face everything in life. Let's start with something so simple that most people overlook it: making your bed. For years I thought it was pointless, just something neat freaks or military guys did. But then I tried it consistently and something shifted. That first 5 minutes of the day became a small win, a declaration that I was in control. Do you know what happens when you start your morning proving to yourself that you can complete something? It sets the tone for everything else. Leaving dishes in the sink suddenly feels wrong. Skipping the gym feels like breaking a promise. You walk past that neatly made bed later in the day, and it silently tells you, you showed up for yourself. Small action, massive psychological win. Another habit that changed me at the core was reading the Bible and praying before touching my phone. For some people, meditation or journaling does this, but for me, scripture and prayer anchored me, because life will punch you in the face, hard. The question is, what are you rooted in before the storm comes? Some mornings I'd open my Bible and read a single verse that hit me so strongly, I had to sit in silence just to process it. Other mornings, my prayers were just a desperate whisper. God, I don't have it today. Please help. That practice gave me peace and clarity in a way no productivity hack ever could. It reminded me I wasn't walking through life alone. Then there's waking up before the world. Think about this. If you roll out of bed at 9, you're already 3 hours behind someone else who woke up earlier and started their day with purpose. And I'm not saying you need to run marathons at 5 a.m., but there's a certain magic in waking up before the noise begins. When it's just you in silence, no notifications, no rush, just the fresh feeling of a clean slate. Those quiet hours gave me time to think, plan, and move through my morning with intention instead of panic. Have you ever noticed how waking up late instantly puts you in catch-up mode? Flip that. Start early, and suddenly you're the one setting the pace. One of my favorite habits is phone-free walks. At first it feels strange, even uncomfortable, like something's missing. You almost feel naked without your headphones or music. But once the discomfort fades, something powerful happens. Your brain starts to breathe again. Thoughts untangle, ideas surface, problems that felt impossible suddenly feel manageable. I can't tell you how many of my best video ideas, solutions to tough decisions, or just moments of clarity came not from podcasts or scrolling, but from walking quietly. Listening to nothing but my footsteps. Try it. 15 minutes in silence with your own mind is worth more than hours of noisy distraction. And then there's the deep work hour. Most of us spend 5 hours pretending to work, jumping between tabs, checking our phone every 3 minutes and calling it busy. But when you block just 1 hour of true, focused, distraction-free effort, you unlock something incredible. Productivity researchers like Cal Newport call this deep work, and it's a game changer. In that single sacred hour, I accomplished more than I used to in an entire distracted afternoon. Why? Because your brain works best in focused sprints, not in scattered marathons. Ask yourself this: how different would your life look if you dedicated just one focused hour every day to your most important goal? Another habit that shocked me with its impact was lifting weights. I'm not a gym bro, I don't scream let's go mid-rep, and I don't care about flexing on Instagram. But there's something primal about walking into a room full of heavy objects and deciding you're strong enough to pick them up. It's not just physical, it's mental. At first, I lifted to impress old insecurities, but soon it became about discipline and power. The barbell taught me things life rarely does: how to show up when I don't feel like it, how to push through pain, how to fight gravity itself. And that strength carries into everything else. When you can push yourself under a heavy weight, suddenly the weight of everyday problems feels lighter. Hydration was another game changer. It sounds basic, but most people walk around chronically dehydrated without even realizing it. That brain fog you feel? That afternoon crash? Sometimes it's not burnout, it's just thirst. Once I started treating water like fuel instead of an afterthought, my energy shifted. I began chugging 20 ounces first thing in the morning and keeping a bottle by my side throughout the day. And the difference was shocking. Clearer thinking, better mood, improved skin, even fewer cravings. Something as simple as drinking enough water became a superpower. Reading 10 pages a day may sound small, but it changed the trajectory of my mind. 10 pages is nothing, right? But do the math. That's a full book every month, 12 books a year, 36 books in 3 years. That's an unofficial degree in personal growth. And it's not about speed or volume. It's about consistency. Every time I chose to read instead of scrolling, I was choosing long-term wisdom over short-term dopamine. And slowly, my thoughts began to change. I started thinking more like a creator and less like a consumer. Tell me, when was the last time you finished a book cover to cover? What would happen if you started stacking them, year after year? Journaling became my therapy. At first, my pages looked messy like word vomit, but that was the point. Dumping all the chaos in my mind onto paper gave me space to breathe. I'd start anxious or stressed, but by the end of one page, I'd find one clear thought worth keeping. That act of externalizing my emotions helped me process them instead of drowning in them, and it didn't have to be poetic. It just had to be honest. When was the last time you gave yourself permission to write something no one else will ever see? One of the most underrated habits is keeping one small promise to yourself every day. Not 10, not 20, just one. Maybe it's drinking water before coffee. Maybe it's making your bed. Maybe it's not checking social media before noon. Whatever it is, it proves to your brain that your words matter. When you break promises to yourself, you start to lose trust in your own abilities. But when you keep them, even tiny ones, you build what I call inner gravity. That quiet confidence that pulls you closer to your best self. Another turning point for me was learning to say no. I used to be a full-time people pleaser, always saying yes, always available, always drained. And what did it get me? Stress, resentment, and a life that didn't feel like mine. The moment I learned that my peace was expensive, everything changed. Saying no wasn't selfish, it was survival. And the people who respected my boundaries were the ones worth keeping. Everyone else? They were just renting space in my head at a discount. Food was another huge factor. I stopped eating whole foods to impress anyone. I did it because I was tired of feeling sluggish and foggy. Every time I chose real, colorful, nutrient-dense meals over processed junk, my body thanked me. My focus sharpened, my cravings shrank, and I started treating food not as comfort or punishment, but as strategy. Fuel your body right and your mind follows. And let's not forget the space around you. Messy room, messy brain. I lived that for years. But the moment I started cleaning and decluttering, my mental clarity skyrocketed. Your environment reflects your standards. When I raised the standard of my space, my mind followed. Try it. Clean your desk, clear the clutter, and see how much lighter your brain feels. Then there's how you talk to yourself. I used to be my own worst critic. I tore myself down with words I'd never say to someone I loved. And then I wondered why my confidence was in pieces.
But here's the truth. Your inner voice is the narrator of your life.
And you can't live a powerful story if the narrator keeps trash-talking the main character. The day I shifted from inner critic to inner coach, everything changed. I started rooting for myself instead of doubting myself. And slowly, I became the person I believed in. And finally, the most powerful reminder of all. No one is coming to save you. Not a mentor, not a lucky break, not some magical moment. It's just you. You are both the hero and the rescue team. The day I internalized that, I stopped waiting and started building. Life will hand you excuses, but discipline and drive have to come from within. Believe in yourself so hard that the world has no choice but to catch up. So let me ask you, which of these habits will you start today? Will you finally wake up earlier, drink that water, keep that promise to yourself? Or will you scroll away and let another day slip by? Your future self is watching, silently hoping you choose today. If this video gave you something valuable, hit the like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more. Because your habits decide your future, and your future begins the moment you choose to act.